Alright, that got boring, so Barkley and Jake are going to spice up this next part, chapters 9 to 16. What was Pastor Munizzi's response to his son's accusations that he's hiding Tootsies? Immaculée thinks that this might be him saving face, knowing that the women are listening, but he's very aggressively angry and lets Mbemba know that he has no idea what he's talking about, and the fact that killing anyone is wrong. What place of former refuge is no longer off limits to the killers? Churches. The killers are luring Tutsis to churches, which were once thought that no one would ever invade to try to kill anyone, and they're going to church. Churches are being used to lead people to slaughter. As the Tutsis first tore apart the pastor's bedroom, what argument did the dark evil use to convince Immaculée that God would not protect her? I really think that there's two answers to this, because there's two separate incidences where the dark voice talks to her. One is that you're not special, why should God save you? When so many innocent people and children, especially babies, are being killed. Then there's also the second time where the dark voice says to her, you're no different than the killers because you have so much hate in your heart. You are just the same as them because you hate and would be willing to kill them too. What was God's response to this evil? I guess God's response, because there's two times, one she envisions Jesus, one she envisions God. God says that even though these innocent people are being killed, they're with him now, and that she shouldn't feel sorry for them because they're now living eternally with him. Jesus' response is that Jesus says to Immaculée in a dream that when she leaves, everyone she knows will be dead, and that she will be his child now, and that she will belong to him, and she will be his best friend where Damascene and her family once were. So those are the two different responses. What did Pastor Munizzi accuse Immaculée's father of? That was being selfish and self-centered. What do these rumors suggest to Immaculée? That Pastor Munizzi is not to be trusted, or that she worries that she can't trust. What were Pastor Munizzi's plans should these women survive the genocide? This one we skipped over a bit in class, and it's not going to be too important, but just so you know, he was going to give them to the Abashi, a more primitive pygmy tribe in Rwanda, so they could live out their days safely and that no one would ever know that she did it. What did Pastor Munizzi bring Immaculée at her request? Two things here. One was a Bible, that was early on, but most importantly, and this is towards the second latter half of this section, is that it's as many books in English and an English to French dictionary so that Immaculée can pass the time learning English. Why were the women put off by Pastor Munizzi's request to pray? Because they almost seemed like selfish prayers. They were praying for him, praying for his safety, not really worrying too much about the outside world. Pastor Munizzi does a great thing to keep the girls safe in this situation, but there's a lot of times where we see him as self-centered, especially as it comes to kind of his safety. So that's what puts the women off, although he still was responsible for the safety of 7 women in all this. Who did Pastor Munizzi bring into his confidence? That would be his son, the son that was close to Immaculée, and letting him know who was there. How were Malave and Solange able to survive their journey to the pastor's house? They were taken in by a Hutu friend who protects them and teaches them and basically gives them the clothes of the Interahamwe so that they can pretend that they are part of the killers, and the killers never really think twice as long as they're wearing the clothes and screaming Hutu power. After their arrival, Jesus appeared to Immaculée in a dream. What did he tell her? That most people that she knows will be dead when she leaves the bathroom. Not long after this dream, Immaculée heard people talking outside of a window describing the capture and killing of a man who had been hiding since the beginning of the war. Described the account. They say that it was somebody with a master's degree that they had found, and they cut open his head to see what a master's degree brain looks like, And of course, Immaculate starts to put together that that is likely Damascene, because he is one of the few people with a master's degree, and especially after Jesus' vision to Immaculate, it's pretty clear that this is likely him. Which nation first sent troops to Rwanda? France. They're French. Not UN soldiers, but these are actual soldiers. And by the way, an important note, it was not the United States and never was the United States. President Clinton says one of the biggest regrets of his presidency was not labeling it a genocide and not trying to help out. President Clinton keeps the United States out of the war, out of the genocide. He doesn't interfere, and it led to millions of deaths, as you read in this book, especially when the numbers come out in the end. What does Immaculate's boyfriend suggest? John's biggest concern when he saw Immaculate, she's not too pretty anymore, having lost the majority of her body weight, nearly starving to death, and none too clean, having not bathed. Not really the concern that you would think a boyfriend would have. I'm glad you're alive. I can't believe you haven't starved to death. What can I do to help? No, it's that you're too skinny. Why does Immaculate teach herself English? She believes it's going to be her purpose to go to the UN and share her story. What does Pastor Munizzi do that threatens to expose those in hiding? This was the movie incident. He decides that they need some entertainment, brings them out to see a movie, and a houseboy sees the lights. What did Pastor Munizzi do before he escorted the refugees to the French camp? He says, make sure that I guess we'll start with he tells his children about it, so that his children know there's just very little, there's very little that changes these women's lives from yours, so you should count yourself lucky. You should never judge. It's a good lesson to give his children, especially, although not all of them are touched, because Smebe is none too impressed and actually quite angry. The pastor survives all this, so I guess he never really turns him into the Interahamwe, but he's none too pleased, and the children eventually see this as kind of a life-changing experience for them to appreciate what everyone else has gone through. So, that's part 2. Kat joined us for this one too. Next video will be part 3, and hopefully you'll be all ready for your test tomorrow.